Hey everybody, this is Ty from Tennessee, and I am just kind of chilling, kicking it right now on my beautiful Tahitian Teal 2020 Street Glide. And today what we're doing, we're heading over to a buddy of mine, Eric's. We're going to link up with him, and then we are heading downtown Chattanooga, because just recently I made the discovery that downtown Chattanooga has a pinball museum. Now, in this location, not only do they have pinball machines, obviously, but they also have some classic arcade games and things of that nature. So we're going to go check it out, see what there is to do down there. Oh man, I remember when I was a kid. Now, when I was a kid, I was a huge gamer, huge into it, big time. Now, not so much, but back then, oh man, let's see, the first game system that I can remember that I had was a Commodore 64. Now, I bet some of you guys who are watching this, you're probably too young to even know what a Commodore 64 is. But, so I had one of those. And when I say 64, we're talking about megabyte, not gigabyte. I mean, this was old school, right? So then, see, after the Commodore 64 came the Commodore 128. So I begged and pleaded with my mother, and after a lot of whining, probably, we upgraded all of my computer equipment to Commodore 128. And I remember that being so cool because you had the big floppy disks, they were called, and I was able to copy games from my friends, and we were able to trade them back and forth, and it was so much fun. There were so many cool games. A lot of them were junk, but some of them were really cool and a lot of fun. Starting to get a little bit of rain. Oh man. Well, where was I after Mr. Precipitation so rudely interrupted us? I think I was talking about the Commodore 128. As you can see, I had to pull over and put my rain jacket on. Man, it really started coming down and pouring, but what are you going to do? You want to ride motorcycles, you're going to get caught in the rain sometimes. It's just kind of the way it is. So let's see, anyway, after the Commodore 128, I really started getting into, what was that then? It was Nintendo, right? Nintendo, and then Nintendo 64 and Super Nintendo. Man, I had all those crazy games. I absolutely loved them. Probably had a whole library of them. Just about any type of game system you can think of I had in my room growing up, and I absolutely loved it, man. I had some great memories of all that stuff. And I will tell you this, if you guys like to watch documentaries, I love documentaries. Netflix seems to have a couple of, I think it's Netflix, seems to have a couple of documentaries on 80s video games and 80s technology and that type of thing. Anyway, it was really cool. I liked watching it. Now, when you talk about stand-up video games, oh man, 80s in the heyday, right? Arcades were the coolest thing ever. I'm 47, so grew up in the 80s, and arcades, man, that's where it was at. Some of the big ones I can remember, I remember there was Edsel's in Eastridge, Tennessee, where I grew up. And everybody hung out at Edsel's. That's where you go to play video games, and you would go in there and you would pay by the hour. You didn't necessarily have to pay by the game, but you could pay by the hour and play as many games as you want. And that was a lot of fun, man. That was so much fun. I did that a bunch. The big hot ticket item that I remember that I was so fond of in my early teenage years. I'm guessing was Dragon's Lair. You know, Dirk the Daring, and he had to rescue the princess, and it was a cartoon-based game. It looked like a cartoon, and it had all of these different patterns that you had to memorize, and the different stages of the game if you wanted to advance. And man, I think I had just about every single thing on that game memorized you can think of. And that was back when games were typically a quarter, right? So you'd pay a quarter and you'd get a little bit of playtime out of the game. Well, Dragon's Lair, if I remember right, was 50 cents. So it was a little more expensive, but man, it was cool. Now, I do remember growing up, I had a friend named Rodney, and Rodney had a stand-up video game, the Tron stand-up arcade cabinet type of game. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, he had one of those in his bedroom. He had a really big bedroom. But anyway, it was really neat. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. And while I was thinking about this video and everything, I went and looked those up on the internet to see, and like, you can get a fully restored one for $5,000 or $6,000. Now, I don't want one that bad, but it's neat to think that they're still out there if you got the pocketbook and you want to pay for it. And then I also remember a buddy of mine by the name of Chris. Now, downstairs in the den in his parents' house when we were growing up, he had a KISS pinball machine. Now, I have not seen a KISS pinball machine since then in person. I've seen them on TV and that type of thing. But when I checked online for the Pinball Museum where we're heading, it looked like they just might have a KISS pinball machine. So if that's the case, man, I am really looking forward to it. That will be super cool. All right, we've got Eric. He's behind me, and we are heading to downtown Chattanooga. Now, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, you know, when I was growing up, I had my favorite game and my favorite game system and that type of thing. If you grew up in the 80s, you know, maybe what was your favorite game or favorite game system or console or that type of thing? That'd be interesting to know if you could let me know in the comments below. All right, things might get tricky here. 2 motorcycles, downtown Chattanooga, trying to find parking on a Friday night. Let's see what happens. Going along for the ride with me today. If you like this video and this is your type of thing, please consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. I sure do appreciate you guys' time. I hope you have a good day. We will talk to you again soon.